All right, here we go. Part 2, Chapter 7, Packaging. Packaging is the container and the graphic design for a product. Now, not all packages have labels. Some are printed on the package itself. That's why there is a little bit of a difference, but the package can influence your attitude towards a product and purchasing decisions. When you first get a job after college and you're moving out on your own and you're having to buy things you've never bought before, you're not really sure what brands are out there. So maybe the packaging makes a difference in terms of the appeal to you for you to purchase it. A package can also make it more versatile and safer and easier to use, which are all obviously very, very important in the scheme of things. There are 4 functions of packaging. Obviously, it protects and preserves the product in transit from one place to another. Sometimes it can prevent tampering or shoplifting. That's a key as well, especially if it's a higher end item. It can be convenient to the customer, whether it's individual servings or sized. You think again about Coke. You can get it in a 2 liter, a 1 liter, a 24-ounce bottle, a 20-ounce bottle, a can, a mini can. However you want to do it. Cereal's been good at that lately with individual serving size. So those are convenience for consumers. It can promote the product by having all the information on it, and it can evoke an emotional response. We talked about that a little on the first day of this chapter, where colors and different things can evoke responses for you, which is why companies use certain colors on their packages. Why would you change a package? Well, in our example, we talked about ketchup going from the glass bottle to the plastic bottle. And not only that, going to where it sits on the cap so it flows down. Well, it's just easier to use, okay? Maybe this is a combination of, say, 5, more convenient to use, and 3, and not necessarily new materials, but a more inexpensive way to make it was with plastic instead of glass. So those 2 things combined allowed for those companies to do that. Sometimes the design isn't even in style anymore. Competitors have kind of made changes, and you want to keep up with the Joneses, so you do it. Maybe the product itself has changed, and you want to promote that on the package. That's another reason you might change it. Maybe you make it bigger or whatever. The product itself is bigger, so you have to change the package to make it bigger to fit in there. You may want to reposition your product as well. In terms of who the target market is, and the package can affect that in many ways. So also, safety is another issue as well that can warrant a change in the packaging of a product. There's some things that we can use as terms. Secondary use. There's value in a package that can be reused. My wife does this we have this Chinese restaurant that we love, and she loves to reuse the egg drop soup containers when we have takeout, and it drives me crazy because we have them all over God's creation, and I don't need them to be reused so much. But sometimes packages can do that, and I'm sure sometimes your parents will do that. Category consistency. This is kind of like what we talked about with peanut butter. Like, it's not just one brand, it's the whole product category. Peanut butter, like, it's jars. That's just the known thing. So it's consistent across the board, no matter the company. In terms of that, that's what that is. Innovative is unusual or standing out. I think IKEA is really good at being innovative in terms of their packaging to minimize the amount of waste in packaging that can be a problem, which is something that people can be concerned about. Multiple packaging, twin packs, tri-packs, 6-packs, 12-packs, 24-packs, blah, blah, blah. All those different things. You multiple servings or multiples of the product in a package. Also, handling improved packaging it makes it easier to handle, not just for us in terms of the consumers, but in the distribution channel, which we'll talk about next chapter, is as it gets from where it's made to the store where we buy it, you can change the package to make it easier to handle for those people, those middlemen intermediaries in between there as well. So it's not just always about the consumer. Oh, yep, quickly. There we go. That didn't take long, did it? But it's important. And another thing is important too is labels, because sometimes the package and the label are not always the same. And I'm looking at, for lunch, I had a plastic bottle of Coke, but the bottle was plastic, but they printed out the Coke label that goes on it. It's not part of the actual package. So that can also be a part of marketing as well. So what is it for? Well, it's identifiers. It really is. It's the brand name. It's what's in it, how to use it, when does it expire, servings, all those different things are important. There's a lot of information that can go on a label. And with the FDA, just specifically in terms of food, saying that you have to put the caloric intake on everything, that really makes the companies consider their packaging and where they want to put that stuff to make sure that it's still somewhat, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm totally spacing out. It's attractive, if you will. And you can go out on YouTube and look at, I don't want to say documentaries, but like mini documentaries on how companies create the pictures that go on these packages, where they'll use glue or hot wax that's supposed to be, to look like a condiment, but it's not, or they'll staple things on, and it's really bizarre, but it's supposed to invoke that response, that emotional response from you that makes you want to buy it. So it's very, very interesting. Many labels go with UPCs so that you can scan it, but it also helps with inventory and pricing, helps companies keep stock of what they have. The problem is that they're running out of them, so they're moving more towards QR codes, because the permutations of the squares is a lot more than with the UPC code. And the Nutrition Labeling Act of 90 was what we were talking about earlier, where you have to put contents on packages, but now even in fast food restaurants, you have to put those on even the ordering windows so people know what's out there. Questionable practices. Sometimes people will put strawberry frozen yogurt bars, but there are no strawberries in it whatsoever. It's just strawberry flavoring. And then the flecks they put in aren't, because you get those very little seedlings on strawberries. They'll put something in there to make it look like that's in there too, but it's not a strawberry whatsoever. So there's got to be a lot of truth to it. Going clockwise, like what really is made in the USA, like that can be questionable on what is, what isn't, and it just, it invokes arguments. The guidelines evolve. It's ever changing, because again, people are always trying to get around it by the FTC. And green labeling is when you're misleading people about the environmental aspect of the label or the package. You're saying on the label, hey, this is environmentally friendly, when it's not. And that's greenwashing. So you want to be careful of that as well. And we'll go through this together on Wednesday. And so I'll explain it here. Is this guy created, he wrote this book called Remove Child Before Folding, the silliest, stupidest, and wackiest warning labels ever. And that's basically, the warning labels are put on products because most often someone has done something with the product and it's gone bad, like not taking their child out before folding up their stroller, and something bad has happened, and then they sued the company because they didn't know. Okay? So therefore you have to put the warning labels on it. So we'll go through some of them, because there are some interesting ones that are out there. And I'll go over it again when we talk about it, but it's just really interesting how it makes me think about what people did to cause that label to be on there. But anywho, so that is it. That is all of Chapter 7. That is all of Unit 2. And we will talk next week about pricing and pack. See, I'm totally spacing it. We will discuss a little bit about pricing, but more of it will be distribution or place, on how products get from where they're created to where customers get them, and how that's changing and evolving. So we will see you later.